Now, once we know about inner class, let's talk about anonymous inner class. I know that sounds weird, right? Anonymous. Anonymous simply means something which doesn't have a name, okay? So what I will do is I will just try to remove everything here and let's work with this particular class, okay? And in fact, I needed a class. Let's say class A is there, okay? And inside this class A, I'm creating a method which is public void show. Again, just to keep it simple, I'm using simple names here. And here I will print in a show, okay? And if I want to call A, of course, I will simply say A obj. You need to create object of A. And then I will say obj.show. Let's see if this works. Compile and run. It works. You can see got in a show. That perfectly works. Now the question I have for you is very simple question. What if I want to change the behavior of show method? Okay, that means I want it to do something else. Now I know in your mind you have the idea, right? We can simply create a class which is B, and this class B will extend A. So basically we are trying to do method overriding here. In this B as well, you will be having the same method which is show, which will print in B show. We just want to do something else, and by doing something else, what I mean by in this code is I'm just trying to print something else. But of course you can do whatever you want. I just want to change the behavior of this show method. So we created a new class called B, and here what we can do is we can create the object of B, but the reference is of A. So what we are doing is we are overriding the behavior of show. And then you will say, hey, we have already talked about it, right? We have talked about method overriding. Hold on, hold your horses. Let's see. If I compile this code and run, it says in B show. But now if you think about this class, now first of all, as we mentioned, every time you compile a code, it will create all the class files. See, we got A, B because of the previous code. Let's delete that. You can see we got B.class as well. Now you will say, what's the harm in that? See, the harm is the only purpose of this class B was to extend a class to override the method. And maybe it will be used only once. Now, of course, if it is using multiple times in different places, of course, you should create a different class. But what if we know that this class will be used only once, only for this particular use? In that scenario, why to create a new class? Oh, then you will say, if you don't get a new class, how will you get a new implementation? Okay, let me show you something. What if I can simply come back here just before the semicolon and I can define what should be the new implementation? I know this looks tricky, but just be with me. See, till this point, we have seen that first you have to create a class and then you create the object, right? And that's what we are doing from a long time. But now this is the first time that I'm saying, I want to create object of A, but this is the implementation. This is the design for it. Don't go for the original design. I will give you new design. The new design is, I will use the same method name or same method here. The only change I want to do here is it will print in new show. I will just provide some indentation so that it will look better. So what I'm doing here is I'm providing a different implementation for show method. Okay. And let's see if this works. I just want to see, compile, and you can see that it says in new show. It is not going for the original method. So we are providing a new implementation here. Now this is called inner class. Okay, you will say, hey, how it's a class? We are not using a class keyword, right? That's right. We are not using a class keyword and we are not even giving a name to it. And that's why it is a inner class, because this class is created inside the demo class. And also there's no name for the class. And that's why if you go back to your files, can you see this? We got demo. Inside that we have a class, but there's no name for it. And since we don't have a name for it, it says 1. Of course, if you create multiple classes, it will have a different number. It will say 2, 3, 4, and list goes on. And since we don't have a name, it is called anonymous class. So this is anonymous inner class, which we are going to use a lot in the upcoming videos. Once we talk about interfaces, once we talk about functional interface, lambda expressions, this is very famous concept. So just get used to it. Now, if you want me to type this code once again, I will do that for you. What I will do is I will just go back here. See, it is not difficult. It's just that you're unfamiliar with this concept and it will take some time. Okay, so what you do is just before the semicolon and after the constructor, open the curly brackets and close. This is your class. And in this class, you provide the method, which is show. And whatever you want to do in show, you can do that here. You can say I'm printing in new show. And then you can call this show. So when you call this show, it will call the show of the new implementation not this one. Okay. And yeah, that's how it works. So that is your anonymous inner class.